Guys, welcome to my patch 14.15 tier list. I'm going to show you guys the best champions to climb with and what champions you really should be avoiding. Let's jump right into it. So I've been preaching Shyvana and Udyr for the last 2-3 patches. Shyvana did get nerfed, yes, but literally nothing has changed. I literally played on Shyvana thinking it was the old patch, and it felt the exact same. I didn't even know she was nerfed until I started reading the notes. I was like, holy shit, she's nerfed. She feels the exact same. Don't let those nerfs get to your head. She's still a very broken player in the exact same way. Shyvana is the fucking strongest jungler up until probably Masters, for sure, undisputably. Udyr follows second to Shyvana. Udyr is very powerful. A little bit harder to play. You need to cycle your spells. You need to know your limits. It's much more difficult to understand how to play Udyr, but nonetheless, these two champions are 100% always going to be worth learning, even going forward, many patches down the road. These champions are also really just huge staples of the jungle. Okay? Play either of these champions. If you're really serious about climbing, I promise you, you won't regret these choices. These are the God tier champions of patch 14.15. S tier champions are just as much as worthy to play as these God tier champions. Let's jump right in. We'll go from Amumu to the left. Amumu, Nocturne. These two champions are best friends in the world. They will always be really powerful. Until, again, you're Diamond. So I would say if you were to think about the best champions to climb with to Diamond to Masters, Shyvana, Amumu, and Nocturne. The reason why Amumu and Nocturne are so powerful is the impact of their ultimates and the low mechanic the low mechanics. It's not intense. It's not that difficult. These champions will be really powerful always. The problem is people are bored of champions like that. I get it. But if you're serious about getting LP, you better play Amumu or Nocturne or Shyvana or Udyr. These champions are a little more skill intensive. So let's start off with Kindred. Kindred is a great 1v9 champion. The problem with Kindred is she takes a lot of mechanics. She can be somewhat difficult, especially if you're in any rank below gold. Okay, Kindred is powerful, yet she can be really confusing because do you go for the mark? Do you invade? Do you gank? What is your primary goal on Kindred? Personally, I have a few videos on Kindred, but even from my experience, it's hard to identify what you're supposed to be doing on this champion. I'll make more videos on Kindred. I love this champion. I think she's really strong, but you need to have good hands to make Kindred work. Still very powerful champion. We have Fiddlesticks here. Similar stuff to Kindred. In terms of you need to have decent skill. Would not recommend Fiddlesticks for anyone below gold. But overall, Fiddlesticks is really broken. So the reason why Fiddlesticks is broken is if you can abuse Fog of War, you understand how to dodge every ward. You're a ninja, you're an assassin, you like that playstyle, you never want to be seen, and you want to farm as quickly as you possibly can. No one really beats Fiddlesticks in safely farming their own camps. Fiddlesticks comes out to be a monster on the map. Really highly recommend Fiddlesticks if you enjoy abusing Fog of War. You're a critical thinker and you want to be that guy to surprise people. Be like, no way, I'm getting ganked here. No way. The new addition to S tier is Kha'Zix and Hecarim. To start off with Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix is sort of a wild card here. He's sort of just here because he is really prominent in this meta because of how strong ADCs are. ADC mid lane, ADC top lane, ADC fucking, your support laner's an ADC. Everyone's playing. There's a Zeri jungle going on right now on the Rift. Okay, everyone's playing an ADC. Kha'Zix is really good at countering these situations, when they have a lot of high mobility champions, but they're also really squishy. Kha'Zix can deal with them very well, which is why I recommend Kha'Zix right now. And just in general, Kha'Zix has always been pretty strong. You might be wondering, okay, what about Rengar then? What about another assassin like Evelynn and Talon? They're good, but not as good. And the reason why is Kha'Zix can match their mobility, escape, have early game, mid game, late game potential, scales all throughout. Kha'Zix is also just good against a lot of these other junglers. The problem with some of these other assassins is they're not good against half the junglers on S tier, God tier, or even A tier. The next addition to the 14-15 S tier is Hecarim. So after talking to Huncho, one of the best Hecarim players on the NA server, we discussed, I'm like, man, Hecarim's pretty strong, right? He's like, yeah, Hecarim is really powerful, especially, again, below Masters. So if I were to sort of give you guys a below Masters tier list. This is sort of what it looks like, but every patch, that's what I'm going to be really focused on. For those people who are above Masters, I promise you, you're probably good enough to play the champion you love most to climb with. There's like the meta in Masters Plus is play your best champ. And in lower elos, it's actually playing meta can be helpful. Anyway, Hecarim got buffed. His W's OP. He farms well. He can do objectives well. His items are really strong right now. Hecarim dominates the Rift. Really recommend playing Hecarim if you enjoy that style. Next up in the A tier, we have Lilia. So I thought Lilia was shredded after these nerfs. Lilia is still completely fine. She's definitely not as powerful as she was. I think I put her in B tier or C tier before. She's actually still an A tier champion. In my heart, she's still very, 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 very powerful. Same champion, but a little weaker. So before she'd be S tier or even God tier, I put her. So she did drop a few ranks, but she's nowhere near B or C tier. She's nowhere near a champion like Pantheon or Lee Sin or literally. She's just too powerful in solo queue. The next new addition is going to be Gwen. Now, Gwen is a wild card again. Good against the ADCs, good in the meta, and farms really, really efficiently, and just overall can also be really good against these tankier champions that are being played. Gwen is just like I want a fun sort of counter pick. It's AP, it's carry 1v9. You got a champion, and you want sort of like a melee champion as well. You got a champion like Gwen versus someone I forgot to put on the list, Brand here or Zyra here. These champions are great, but the 1v9 power of these champions, because you're ranged and you're squishy, it's not as high as a champion like Gwen. So Brand is in the 8 tier, by the way. I forgot to put him up here. And the next thing is, if you guys want to see my reviews on any of these champions here, go take a look at the old tier list. I think it's the 14 tier list, 13 tier list actually. I'll link them below, but watch those tier lists because they have the rundown of all these other champions. And I don't want to constantly talk about them over and over and over again. I want to talk about the new additions to the tier list. All right, let's take a look at the B tier. So in B tier, what I changed is I put Mordekaiser a little bit higher, and I put Graves a little bit higher. Actually, Graves might be saying that. I think the only change was Mordekaiser. The reason why Mordekaiser is valid again is ADC-ish meta, and also just overall, I played him and I got more experience with him. And Mordekaiser is really strong in solo queue because you ult one person, you 1v9 the fight from there. You can ult the most important person, you can ult the least important person, and you'll just be high value no matter what as Mordekaiser. Alright guys, that's pretty much going to be all of the important things we reviewed in this tier list. Again, if you're looking at a climb, I highly recommend you play Shyvana, Udyr, Amumu, or Nocturne. Udyr being a little bit harder than Shyvana, Amumu, and Nocturne, but those are the golden champions of climbing in solo queue and League of Legends as a jungler. All the rest of these champions are fun, they're great, you can still carry, you can still win, but it's still best if you want to climb to play the most OP champions on the Rift. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed the tier list, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know as well if you guys enjoy these sorts of videos. If you guys want to see a different kind of tier list, please let me know. One trick tier list, ganking junglers tier list, farming junglers tier list, all these other sorts of tier lists, whatever you can think of, let me know. Anyways, appreciate you guys. See you around. Peace.